Coast to Coast with Alan Jones.
West Cornwall's Coast FM.
So, if you feel that you've lost the joy in your life, and who among us hasn't at some time, then this book has been written for you. Perhaps you're just not sure where you're going these days, or you've been shaken by a life-changing event. Perhaps you feel bewildered by the plethora of spiritual teachings on offer, or simply need to add a little bliss into your everyday routines. And handing a bit of bliss now is actually the author of this book, Odd Days of Heaven. It's Sandra Bray. Hello, Sandra.
Hello, Alan. Hello, Sue.
Lovely to see you again.
Thank you, aren't you?
So, I'm holding in my hands this book, which is the result of 6 months of work, you were saying earlier?
It took me 6 months to write the book.
6 months to write the book, but then all that other stuff of
and
production.
then all the hard part happens after.
Yeah. So tell me about the book. How did it come to be? That's a really tough question, isn't it? How are we here? Why are we here? I have no idea.
Well, I was just in my garden one day having a peaceful afternoon with all the activities I do, and I suddenly realised that, my gosh, I could write a book with all the things I'm involved in. And it was just one of those throwaway thoughts that you don't think anything more of. And then about an hour later, I thought, well, actually, why don't you write a book and just see where it goes? I never thought to publish it at the time. I just thought, oh, let's write this book.
And so you wrote it. And I'm going to read from the back of your bio here. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
I mean, to get an idea of Sandra, because we've kind of crossed paths several times, really, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Sandra's worked in the industry of the Royal Air Force and the National Health Service. The loss of close family members then sparked interest in complementary medicine, leading to a training in Reiki and other healing forms, while she also discovered a natural talent for tarot. Sandra grew up in Cornwall and still lives there with her German Shepherd dog and companion. She's inspired by the daily Cornish landscape and Celtic traditions. And that's what this book is full of.
Not necessarily Celtic traditions, it's just that they were the ones that inspired me. So I've just picked loads of different spiritual activities and traditions from all over the world and various faiths and systems, because I don't actually follow one faith myself. I like to dip in and out and go with what I feel is comfortable and is relevant, and so long it's formed a basis of compassion, then I think that's fine. I don't mind what faith it involves if you have compassion within it.
I understand that totally. So just go back to the I'm sorry, I'm as I said to you in the break, I'm fascinated by the writing process. In terms of, you thought you'd write this book, you thought you could write a book. Physically, what happened then? Did you just sit down at a typewriter, at a notepad, and did it just come out, or research, or a bit of both, or?
Well, I just decided, because I prefer to write. I don't really like the computer. I use it too much in work, and when I'm at home, it's a different world for me. So I just sat in my garden or in my living room, and I just wrote. I just let everything flow from me while I was writing. And then, of course, once I did all that, I then typed it up. And then I was wondering what on earth to do with it. And then there was a book writing competition in a magazine, so I entered it. And although I didn't win, I came runner-up. They still wished to publish the book. And that was how it all happened.
So kind of serendipitous, I guess.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, which kind of is the flavour of something that's if things are meant to happen, they happen.
Yes.
So that's kind of good. So you came as runner-up, and they published the book. And this came out. We talked about this.
Yes, it came out in November 2016. But the publishers keep wanting you to plug it all the time, and yes.
And of course, you're keeping it in the public eye, and the fact that, well, I mean, can you talk about the structure of the book briefly? How is it laid out? I mean, I can look at this, but it's you to tell me. You've kind of laid it out a thought a day, I guess.
Yes, it was originally. There was 365 things to do for every day of the week, and quite a few of them are linked with, saints' days and other, belief systems. And so I chose those specific times. They're linked with other activities as well, everyday activities that we could do ourselves in learning, and teaching. But also it's about following the cycle of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's just choosing those times, linking in with the flowers and the trees and how the tides work and all those different cycles.
So if I look for today, 15th September,
15th September.
I read Apples and Aphrodite. Apple blossom has a beautiful aroma and is regarded by Celtic peoples as a symbol of love. The ensuing fruit was also considered sacred to the Aphrodite, the goddess of love. And to celebrate the apple harvest at this time and its links to Aphrodite, let's cook something today with apples and express grateful thanks to the earth for the blessings of fruit. I mean, that's lovely, isn't it? It's practical spirituality.
Yes, exactly. And it's so simple. I don't like things to be too complicated.
No.
I would much rather go in and simplify it.
That's lovely. And so I would imagine you've had quite a positive response to this with the people that you know in the sort of the community.
Yes.
Let's call it the community.
Yes, community.
So this is half a year, really.
Yes, it is. So the other half has already been written.
Right, so you got volume 2.
Yes, but I'm not really quite sure what I'm going to do with it yet. So
It's got to be a second volume.
Well, except if you actually look at a lot of the books that are coming out now by these quite well-known spiritual and authors, they're actually doing something very similar, and I think, oh my gosh, I don't know if it would compare, and then you sort of just goes by the by. So I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, because the challenge is maybe if you've got people who shall we say, the regular publishers of stuff, there may be a feeling that because it's already been done, why do it? But you have something specific to say and a way to say it, which is relevant to you. So I'm trying to encourage you to say, go on. Publish it. Just flicking through, I'm noticing you've got something on numerology, you've got something on crystals, you've got a bit of everything.
Yes, I try to. Because even that most of the things that are in the book, I've tried myself. It's like the numerology.
Yeah.
When my marriage broke down, I thought, what do I do? Do I go back to my maiden name or do I stay with my married name? So I went to numerology, and that was what made me stay with my married name, because I read what it meant.
Oh. Now, I'm just double checking this. Yes, I am right. I hadn't clocked.
What?
This is me being really slow. It's called Odd Days of Heaven, and all the dates are odd
yes,
days.
Yes, it's the odd dated days of the year.
I love it. So the next one is Even Days of Heaven.
Well, or I was thinking even more days of
even
heaven.
More
I'm
days
not sure.
See, that's great. That's great. I think you've got to do it. You've got to do it because it's an. If people like this and they like how you've approached this, then to have the even days, I'm trying to.
Oh gosh, you're making me think about this to do it this winter, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. And you maybe don't go with the same publisher necessarily. You could.
Well, I have to say I do find the publishers that it's a very nice company.
Yeah.
And they're not like a sort of not for profit. Profit. So yes, they're very nice people.
It's a lovely produced book and it's got a nice feel.
It feels like moleskin, doesn't it?
I know. It's really nice. Yes, but no animals were hurt.
No animals were hurt.
So what are you... I mean, I'm assuming you attend festivals and talk about this. Do you do talks? Do you do workshops?
Well, I do workshops. I don't necessarily use my book to do it, but the book is there. But I do some little talks based on the ethos of the book. So I did a talk at Heartlands here last year, just an hour's talk, that sort of thing. I do my own little workshops, and the book is always there.
Yeah. So where can people find out about you, and more importantly, I suppose, where can people get this wisdom?
Well, you can buy it from any high street bookshop. I have done a couple of book signings in W.H. Smith in Penzance, so it is there on the shelves at the moment. You can also buy it if you go on to the website address of the publishers, or even Amazon. Just key it in and you can purchase it online as well.
So this is Odd Days of Heaven by Sandra Bray, the publisher's local legend, of which you are. A local legend. And can people? Have you got a website of your own?
Yes, my website is Sange, SANGE 888.com.
Fantastic. SANGE 888.com. Is there a mystical story for that, or is there...
Well, 8 in feng shui and Chinese is. So I thought, well, use the power of 3, so let's do 3 8s. And of course, Sanj is a nickname of my name when I was younger. So
got it.
yeah.
Fantastic. So have I missed anything, or would you like to get offer a reading or two from the book?
Well, yes, I don't mind reading. So I don't need to read it now. If you wanted to do a...
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll play a piece of music, and then we'll come back, because it'd be nice to let people hear you, the author, speak your words.
Oh, gosh, okay.
And so you get...
Coast to Coast with Alan Jones.
West Cornwall, Coast FM.
So we're in the studio with Sandra Bray, author of Odd Days of Heaven, a book, that's spiritual, eclectic, wonderful, homely, practical, and you're going to read something for us from it.
Yes, I'm actually going to read you the entry for 25th of January, and it's entitled "It's All Out There Waiting for You." And I know you'll like this, Alan, because it refers to Star Trek.
Oh, live long and prosper. Yeah.
Right, starts off. Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise said the above words in the original television series of Star Trek, and it's true. It is all out there waiting for us all. Life is to be lived. We should try to wake up each day in wonder at what is possible. What fun awaits us? What excitement awaits us? What learning and understanding will we gain today? What part of life's experience on this planet that we wish to achieve on our journey is about to unfold? Will we love today? Will we cry today? Will we laugh today? So many possibilities. If travelling to work, for example, a different route today might change our lives. Let us not block the flow of life's abundance. Let us be open and receptive to the wonders and mysteries. Let us not become bored with life. There is so much waiting for us to discover, and there's a beautiful planet to live on while making those discoveries. Let us marvel at the spectacular sunrises and sunsets, and be amazed at the ever-changing seascapes. Let us become genuinely grateful for everything, even our difficulties, for these are milestones of learning and growth with potential breakthroughs, allowing us to escape from our fixed assumptions and old fears. Let us step into the world with new eyes, as changing attitudes to our challenges can naturally encourage forward movement. If our sense of purpose is a little lost, then let us try following our passion and allow the universe to be the benevolent, energetic force that it is. Explore the universe with all it brings into our lives, because it is all out there waiting for you.
Love that. That's great. And Star Trek's got it. What do you think, Sue?
Well, I flipped through it this morning, and I have to say I love the eclectic way of writing, and the fact you can dip into lots of different pathways, and I really enjoyed it when I flipped through it this morning. Kind.
Yes, we'll add it to our library.
Yes, and we have an extensive library.
Yes.
This is a really off the wall question.
Oh gosh.
To wrap this bit up with it, I'm really interested. I'll leave you to ever think of it. If you were to, apart from your book,
yes.
If you were to suggest one book that people could read to inspire them, apart from say Odd Days of Heaven, what book would you choose? And this is a really tough question because it just came to me as I was listening to you. I thought, what's so obvious about what you've written is it's drawing on so many diverse sources, which has been your path, yeah?
Yes, it is.
But is there a book that you can think of that you would wholeheartedly recommend somebody to read who was searching, let's say apart from your own, because I think that's one of these great books to start with?
Can I have a minute to think about it?
You can have a minute to think about it. What you see?
Put me on the spot.
Yeah, no, I know. Deliberately.
I think for me, my favourite is Doreen Valiente.
Yeah.
And her fiction as well as non-fiction.
Right. So is there a particular book you'd recommend?
Sea Priestess.
Sea Priestess. Okay.
I really enjoyed that. Really loved that because it's fiction, but it's factual as well.
Yeah, it's built around an approach or a ritual or
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll throw the question back at me. I think mine standard answer would have to be Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach or Illusions by Richard Bach, because they're fictional books, particularly Jonathan, that when you read, you can read it in an hour or two, but it opens up so many questions. And I think good spiritual books raise questions as well as offer, not solutions, offer pathways.
I think something like Sandra's book, I think it would be well thumbed myself. It's something that you would constantly be looking through, and it's a reminder as well. I think you look through it, you look a date up, it's a reminder, and it brings you back onto that way of thinking.
Yes, I think that's the kind of book it is for me. I don't know if this is going to offend or please you, but it is the kind of book you would not stick on a bookshelf. You'd leave it accessible,
like a little coffee table,
like a coffee table book, and be able to just, as you say, thumb through it and look something up, or what was happening back then, and then help what you've written to reconnect.
So what does Sandra say about today?
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's the third book. What does Sandra say, right? So, have you ever thought about it?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to cheat here. May I say two?
You can cheat. I said two, so you can cheat.
Okay. I actually do like the book. It's by Marianne Williamson, and it's called A Return to Love. But it's not a recent book, is it?
I know.
It's been around for quite a while. You see, that actually makes you question yourself in a very nice way. But it actually, when you then question yourself when you're at home privately, it brings up all sorts of things, and it helps to bring about a change in you. But the way she writes is very gentle, so that's nice. And the other one, which actually appeals to my cycle of the year type thing, is a book that's called Singing the Soul Back Home, and it's a shamanic book by Caitlin Matthews. I love that one.
I love that book.
Yes,
that's a great book, actually.
Yes.
So that's really interesting, because I think many people on this kind of path, or self-discovery, whatever you want to call it, will be reminded by various authors or various books they've read or things that have cropped up. And it's just really interesting to share some of those things sometimes, because sometimes people say, well, what can I read or where can I go? That's a possibility for a book. A summary of, top 10... Oh, sorry, I've got another book.
You've got another book on your mind now, haven't
I've
you?
got a book on my mind now. Do something. So, Sandra, thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you for inviting me on.
No, it's been great. And your book's available on Amazon, in all leading bookshops, and bookshops have got taste. You've been in and signed, done the book signing. You're at Healing Light Fair this weekend? No, yes?
No, I can't this weekend.
Okay.
I'm doing some healing work for other people, so
okay, that's cool.
Didn't fall right.
But people will see you at various festivals, and I think
I'm sure.
Jumping in, because you want to catch Sandra off mic about something.
Yeah.
So there is a networking thing going on here as well. But thank you, Sue, and thank you, Sandra, for coming in, and thank you for sharing your thoughts on your book.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheerio.